Good evening or morning, and welcome to game number 2 between Absolute Legends and DK, where we saw DK taking a very strong game against Absolute Legends in the previous game. Burning getting a hero that he really likes and was really able to farm a lot, and that just put Absolute Legends in. Let's see if they're going to switch their change the strategy around. I would hope so, to see some more, well, more chance for Absolute Legends coming in, I would say. And I am a co-caster and have a co-caster. TriumphOfMan. Thank you for having me on your broadcast, and welcome to mine.
Yes, thank you for being on me on your broadcast as well. Okay, let me just jump in here. What have we got? The Naga Siren being banned by Absolute Legends versus no surprises, and there we go. We do have the Darkseer banned as well. This seems to be the case every single game. These teams do hate these heroes so much, Sheever.
Yeah, they don't like to fight against it. And that's a shame, because both of them are such enablers. Well, at least the Darkseer is. He is such an enabler, and Absolute Legends again gonna ban out that Morphling. Don't want to have Burning have that. But, I mean, last time it got banned out, DK picked up as the first pick the Lone Druid, and I think they might be doing the same thing again, if they get the chance.
Well, AL, they do have the first pick, so I mean, if they really want to, they could let Lone Druid slip through and they could just pick him up themselves. Because we've seen Sheetan and Bleak play the Lone Druid so far, so AL, they do have a use for him in their strategies. But now their final ban, this will probably tell us, I mean, if they pick Lone Druid, I'm kind of thinking just Burning will go, give me Anti-Mage, and just snap that up. Although, of course, Anti-Mage, of course, you can pick up stuff like Shadow Demon to not.
No.
Anti-Mage would ban right here, right now.
Okay.
Never mind.
Yeah, and that's quite awkward it's just odd because Anti-Mage actually got through to the entire first picking phase in the previous game and actually only got banned out in the second banning phase. But Absolute Legends, they're just afraid of DK's, of Burning's farm potential, and with that ban out, they do ban out the Anti-Mage, so I do think that's gonna be indeed, if they have the chance, Lone Druid picked up by Absolute Legends here. Otherwise, they run the risk of having the same thing happening to them again. One more ban out needed for DK. Of course, the Nature's Prophet is still in the pool as well. Broodmother Rubik is a very important hero that we've seen picked up a lot of the times, banned out a lot of the times. Most successful hero in day number 1 of the group stage of the International 2. And we might see him being picked up first if he goes through, but we'll see. Nah, never mind, he doesn't go through, he gets banned out. So let's see what Absolute Legends wants to pick up as a first pick. Is it gonna be a Lone Druid? No, Nature's Prophet.
Also, a shout out to Elaboral in my channel chat. He did call it out first. He said the incoming Nature's Prophet pick, and there we go. And AL, they do run the Nature's Prophet quite a bit. I would not be surprised if we see Sheetan running that just in the off lane, or it might even, sometimes we see him even give it to Music and ends up in the mid. Sort of, they just switch it around a little bit, but this gives them plenty of map control, a nice semi-carry in the form of Nature's Prophet, and lots of pushing power, just the fact of Dancer. And this is what they could have used last match, some serious mobility. So when DK deathballed up, they had the ability to split up and just trade towers and go, well, if you want to push one tower as fire, we'll take a couple of towers ourselves. And DK say, well, you know what, if it's not broke, why fix it, and just pick up the same damn combo.
Yep, Invoker, Lone Druid, and we saw the power of them in the previous game. And Invoker, they made it work in the previous game also by being aggressive, etc. But Invoker's also such a strong counter pusher. You have a Nature's Prophet, but then you have an Invoker on the other side. Deafening Blast, Meteor, whatever. Creep Wave is gone. You can't push in anymore. And what we have still in the pool also is a Tinker, so we might see Absolute Legends, if they're gonna go for a total global strategy, they might be able to, well, to still pull that off. If they go for Tinker with maybe a Chen or an Enchantress, because those two are still in the pool as well, of course, and we do know that Absolute Legends likes their jungle heroes go on his Chen or his Enchantress. I actually don't know which he prefers.
I think he prefers Chen, because when I see both heroes left in the pool, it's usually the Chen that gets picked up, just because I think it gives his team a little bit more, even though they can't bum rush a tower as quickly, it just gives his team a little bit more gumption. Also, Chen doesn't suffer from being quite as squishy as Enchantress. He's just got a little bit of better utility. I would really like to see a Tinker and a Chen get picked up. That would actually be really, really cool. And this also the fact that it would really help them just sort of turtle, because they couldn't, with the early, like the 20 minutes, by about 20 minutes, if you do have that much machines maxed out, he can just spam that. It becomes very difficult to push against.
Did Absolute Legends also not have that lineup for Nature's Prophet, Chen, and a Tinker in a game earlier today, or wasn't that the case? Or was that EG?
Oh god, I can't even remember. I think that was EG possibly.
And
I think it might have been EG. Oh no, wait, no.
No, that was
It was.
Absolute
I think
Legends.
it was AL.
Yeah, versus EG, where EG tried the same strategy. They tried it with an Enchantress and a Tinker and a Nature's Prophet, but they failed. And then Absolute Legends came back and they picked up together with this one the Tidehunter and the Shadow Demon. Let's see if that's gonna be the last two pickups here, and let's see if DK actually watched that match. I don't think so, because they would be playing at the same time, so they couldn't have seen that lineup. But Absolute Legends, if they're gonna do the same thing, they won that match with a Tidehunter and a Shadow Demon as their support and as their team fight potential. But first, DK, are they gonna secure a jungle hero for themselves? Previous game, they didn't really need to because they had their supports running the jungle for them. They could try to do the same thing again, in which case, Sand King, Windrunner, still all in the pool. They could just secure a solo lane hero just to have every option for those last two heroes in there. But it is gonna be an Enchantress, so they do want that jungle hero for them. And that is gonna be it for the first picking phase. We have now the first ban for Absolute Legends. What don't they want to face? What do you reckon they're gonna ban out?
Oh. I think they're going to be worried about some big team players. Might see some try and knock some of them off. I'm a little bit worried about the Enchantress. I have seen a couple of Chen vs Enchantress wars with AL, and they have come out second best a few times. So this worries me a little bit, but we'll see how it goes down. Because if you block the close hard camp to the base, and then just basically camp the enemy jungle and continually steal the far hard camp, it can really bone over either the Chen or Enchantress. But they are going to pick off the Windrunner, so just getting rid of some of the utility heroes. I think they're trying to get rid of the suicide lane heroes possibly here.
Yeah, we saw Windrunner picked up by DK in the previous game, and he was able to do a pretty solid job at that, and they just don't want to get shackled and stuff again. And it is also, of course, a strong counter pusher with that power shot, able to hold back lanes so that they won't get pressured, and staying alive at that. So a good ban out, I believe, as DK. Yeah, it would definitely have fit in their lineup, and it's not something that Absolute Legends wants to have, because they are already basically sorted. They've got two solo lanes, they've got a jungle, and they need just a dual lane at that. And we have a Broodmother ban out by DK, more pushing power ban out. We have seen lanes with that Broodmother together with for example, a Venomancer on a dual lane before. Brewmaster banned out, two BMs banned out, very confusing, banned out by Absolute Legends. And I do believe that EG banned out the same hero, or at least banned out the Broodmother as well, and that in this same situation for Absolute Legends. I'm kind of hoping that they are going to try to use the same tactic, and then we can see how DK is going to respond to that, because EG was not able to respond to that all too well, because it just took too long for their own Morphling to get items up, because he was the carry in that team, I believe. But maybe, well, we'll see, maybe they're going to go for the same thing. I'm hoping so.
We will see, indeed. I am wondering, I like the Brewmaster ban just because he's one of the few heroes who can actually deal with Marching Machines, just because he doesn't really care about taking too much damage by wading into it, and he can just move in and then set up the fight. And also he blocks a lot of damage for people following in just behind him, because he just gets in the way of all the little robots. But now the next pick for AL, they banned, although that said, DK's final ban was a Tidehunter. That was probably a pretty good idea, because that would have fit excellently into AL's lineup, just giving them a big bruiser to run up front, a bouncy hero, just to get, well, if you want to get to the guys behind at the back lines, you want to pick off Chen or something, or pick off Tinker, you got to get past me and my Ravage, and it just generally doesn't happen. He can really set up those fights. But it would have worked well as a farming hero, but they are going to pick that up. But now AL, they've got to figure out what they're going to do with this instead, as they have, like, we often see stuff like the Brewmaster and the Tidehunter get used as those frontline heroes, but they've banned both of them off, so they're going to have to pick something else here, Sheever.
Yeah, something else that has a level 6 ultimate, with which he can, well, of course, together with the support, but a level 6 ultimate with which he can either force a team fight, like the Tidehunter and the Brewmaster are able to, or what didn't really work out for EG, but it's still a hero that could work out, a Night Stalker, around level 6, able to put pressure and get successful ganks, and therefore get successful tower pushes. But something, Chaos Knight could still be picked up here as well, even though that doesn't really go all too well with the Venomancer, but just one of those heroes that doesn't need farm. Because you already have Tinker and Nature's Prophet, they are going to take the farm, and we're going to have to need something that can rely on his abilities to be able to have control over the game.
I think they need something big with the tempo, because we saw them. It's what we saw AL stumble with last match. Is just once Burning got that radius up running, once DK decided to death ball and try and force 5v5s. Although in this case they can just split up. They can just split up and push different and just try and trade towers if they want to. But I feel that they should have just some kind of safety net, some kind of big stun, some kind of big team fight, which they don't team fight setup, which they don't really have at the moment. Maybe something like Yeske would be okay, although I don't know how much fun we get. Or the Shrek could work, I guess. Although in this case, I think he will actually get. I think Shaitan maybe on the Leshrac this match. Venomance are likely to be Snoopy and Godot on the Chen this time round. Yeah. Or actually, no, it could be Bleak Leshrac. We've seen a lot of Bleak Leshrac in the past.
Well, it's not a hero with a big ultimate like expected, but it is a hero that is just very reliant on his spells. With just it just fits into their lineup, and even more so with that it's such a heavy pushing hero. And I automatically assumed that this late in the game I don't really count Leshrac anymore because usually he's banned out, but he is actually making it through the through the drafting phase, all the way for the last or final last pick, single last pick from Absolute Legends. Let's see what DK is going to do as an answer to that. They have a support Shadow Shaman, they've got an Enchantress, they just need their dual lane, so what's going to be together with the Shadow Shaman, or what's going to be on the solo lane if Shadow Shaman is going to support that Lone Druid, which we have seen before as well, which was actually in the previous game, Shadow Shaman support with an SK Enchantress on a trial lane, and it's going to be a long lane solo. It's going to be a Bounty Hunter, a hero that can just have some good farm. And I just lost my connection, apparently, to TriumphOfMan. And I'm hoping that I am still here. I'm gonna ask, am I still here? Because, you know, that wouldn't be good if I wasn't. Okay, well then, nobody can hear me in Dota TV, which is kind of a shame. Which means that I can actually turn on my in-game. I'm just gonna turn on this out for a second, just so that the people can hear that. There we go. They're fixed. And yeah, so while we're waiting for TriumphOfMan to reconnect into this game, we're just gonna go over to see who's playing what for both teams. We have got Long DD on his Enchantress moving towards the top lane so far. Zippo on a Shadow Shaman on the Dire side, and you are back. We have Super on the Invoker, which means that I can turn off my. Or are you back in game yet also?
My apologies. My net said screw you, Triumph. I'm just gonna cut.
Yeah.
Cut out now the parody. Okay, no, we're good. We're good.
Okay,
okay, so everybody, it's Triumph back. I'm sorry about that. My internet is not the most reliable thing in the world. But Sheever, if you want to go back to where you were.
Yeah, well, I actually am not allowed to because Burning gets stunned, gets killed, and I think it's gonna be a First Blood Rockets incoming. This is not even needed. Venomance picking up the First Blood, Snoopy securing that one. A support with some extra gold. Good job there. And I need to turn off my microphone in game because I actually turned it on for a second while you were away, just so that the people that are watching via the Dota TV are able to still hear the in-game cast. So anyway, another kill. Oh, Zippo! Sorry. No, that's okay. Stun this time doesn't hit, but Zippo's still getting hit by the kill. He can't go anywhere, and he will go down. Second kill for Venomance, and Long DD, he is having to back off right now. He won't die, but wow, what a great start for Absolute Legends. They just stuck around there, something that DK was not expecting. Jeez. What a great start, and yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna, I'll continue going over DK, and then you will be able to go over Absolute Legends afterwards. ROTK, Bounty Hunter, solo laning it up on the bottom lane, mid lane, Super on his Invoker. We already saw Long DD on his Enchanter, we already saw Zippo on his Shadow Shaman, and Burning on his Lone Druid once again. Worked out game number 1, let's see if it's gonna work out game number 2. All yours.
You know, AL, they come out swinging and completely smack DK around. The question is, can they keep up this pace? Of course, last match they had a pretty decent start. They got the early towers down, they got a couple of good kills in, but it all went pear-shaped. But here we go, Chen and Enchantress fighting over creep. Chen currently not being able to re-persuade. Oh, actually, no, he did. He actually stole that one off Enchantress. And here we go. There is the Wildkin There is the Wildkin Tornado going to harass Burning. And this is what they didn't have first match. The pressure. And they get a Venomous Gale over the trees. Going to set up a stun. And look at this. Burning is one of the third. It's a third kill. Go down. They're going to get another one on Long DD. They get another kill. 4 kills for AL. What is this? A 5th one incoming.
He can't go anywhere. And Venomancer 3 for 0 already. 5 for 0 in total. Absolute Legends. This top lane is so theirs. And I do think we might see Burning. No, Burning is just gonna go back into the top lane. He's level 1, but he doesn't care that he's up for his level 3s. I was kind of expecting him to maybe now try a different route, go somewhere else, because this top lane is all Absolute Legends.
I look at this, they've stacked the medium camp, although it's just lost the wolves at the moment, but they're holding it off there. They're just going to stack this and then have the creep wave just get held off there while they take this first tier top tower. Going to bring that down in a second. They have another Edict. Edict's just up that they want to use, although I think Leshrac is saving in case they have a bit of a clash over here. Okay. Double damage being found by Enchantress, although she's going for a gank on bottom.
Yeah, and Shatan actually TP'd back towards his tower, didn't want to be harassed by Archer K. Actually, a sentry ward being placed here as well, so they could go for that if he gets some support, but Enchantress backing out again. Double damage rune is just going to be used to farm up some heroes, farm up some creeps in the jungle. In the meantime, Musica 7 for 4 versus Super 6 for 3, so very even. Cold Snap though, long DD, there's a double damage rune. Enchantress indeed gonna farm heroes with the double damage rune, still gets hit a lot by the tower, but there's Nature's Attendance and she will be back up to full health shortly. That was the first kill for DK, and such an important kill. Looks like everybody of DK on the top lane is actually rotated to the jungle. They don't want to be there anymore, and I don't blame them one bit.
No, AL definitely on the warpath. I've just noticed there's actually a bounty hunter in this game. I actually crashed out before they got the final pick in there. So there we go, bounty hunter working that bottom lane. They have got counter wards down though, watching out for him, and Enchantress still skulking around. But are they going for the second tier tower? They're just keeping the pressure on up in that top lane, and it is Bleak farming away on that Leshrac there.
Yeah, and
I really like this pressure here.
I mean, he's got a kill. He has been in all 5 kills so far. Well, of course, we can say that for most of the heroes on his bottom lane, top lane rather. Yeah, every single one. Oh, actually, Snoopy wasn't in for one of the kills, even though he took 3 last hits for himself. He is a happy supporting Venomancer with a lot of gold to spend. Mostly going into warding though. If we look at the warding from the Radiant side, it's being quite good. Even though this is just a starting ward still, I guess from the looks of it. Well, he is at least a happy Venomancer with boots.
I think this may come back to bite DK in the ass, although it looks like they're going for a gank there on Musica. Musica getting hit by that wall. Here comes a stomp from the Centaur. Can he manage to land? No, the Venomous Gale is going to save him. Unless that Invoker can get, he didn't get hit by the Venomous Gale, and Musica taking a lot of damage. Bottling up though, they're coming back in. Invoker is now in a ton of trouble. A laser to finish him. Taking him out, and Chen even going to steal Enchantress's creep as a final insult. Yeah. Picked up, I believe, there in that fight.
Enchantress, yeah, Leshrac came in, and that was just all needed. Edict level 3, there was such a level difference. Level 3 Enchantress versus level 5 Leshrac. And Shatan actually TP'd into the top lane. He wanted to help out with those kills, but it's not really needed. It looks like he's just going to help out with the push instead, leaving Bounty Hunter to farm by himself, who is now level 6, so if there's going to be a kill, it's going to be track gold. And when he stops being able to free farm, we're probably going to see him leave the lane. For now, he's going to stick around. Free farm is quite needed. He did pick up a TP scroll, so if it's needed, he can. Didn't pick up a TP scroll. He picked up his phase boots rather. So he can't go anywhere. He can't even go top lane, even if he wanted to. Edict.
Indeed, and here we go. AL being super aggressive. Look at him go on this tower as well. And I do actually know he's coming mid. You're right. Bounty Hunter is actually going to get active, Sheever.
Yep, he leaves his lane and he is going to go actually the safe route. And I'm quite surprised that Bleak is not using his Edict to kill off this tower. They're just hoping to bait out a fight by the looks of it, enjoying the free damage as that they're able to do as it comes. Well, there's the Edict finally. Fortification is not there. The bear is going to try to eat some of the Edict up, but it's going to be not enough, and the deny doesn't come, and Shatan picks up the last hit, and that is 2 towers down. Not even 6 minutes in, but here comes Bounty Hunter. Track up on Snoopy, goes down, track gold for at least 2 heroes. Tornado hits on all 3 heroes still there. Leshrac can't stop Bleak, Shackle, and there he goes. Shatan TPing out, and Godot goes down. And that is it. Oh, Musica still able to pick up the Shadow Shaman with a haste rune. He's going to be able to stay alive. He's going to be able to be backing off there. Well, at least DK is still in favor, even though they shouldn't have died and let the Shadow Shaman die there. Well, of course, there wasn't really all that much that they could do, but DK able to take some kills back. And I think only one of those kills was a track kill, only the first one, if I'm correct.
on Snoopy.
Yeah.
It could have been a slightly different fight, but Snoopy did whiff the Venomous Scale on Bounty Hunter. Did mention to miss that. I've got to say that I think AL are happy with that result. They got a couple of kills out of it. The main thing is they took the tower. And this lineup, I've seen them use suicide lineups for this before. It is more about pushing the tower than sort of solidifying a huge kill lead. They just really, really want to get rid of those towers. And here we go. I think they're going to possibly just try and put a lot of pressure on me, because right now there's not a lot that Bounty Hunter can do, and Burning is going to be so busy. He's off to such a shocking start. He just cannot contribute in any way to this game for at least the next 10-15 minutes or so.
No, and he has to be farming all the time and doing nothing else. Even though the good thing about it is now that the towers are down, he's getting a bit more freedom to farm. If he can keep the lane in his court, he has a bit more control. He's a bit less gankable, so to speak. Even though he has no vision whatsoever in his jungle, but at least for now he's gonna be able to at least get some farm, which he wasn't able to do in the beginning. Bounty Hunter gonna get track on Shaitan, interrupted TP, stun from the Shrek is not hitting on ROTK, Cold Snap, and that's a kill, and Chanter's picking it up, 3 heroes for the track gold, and we had actually Leshrac who didn't want to be there anymore. He just went back, he left the Nature's Prophet to die, and DK, this is what they need to do. They need to get those kills, they need to pick up those heroes with a track gold, they need to get back on top of the game and buy Lone Druid time to farm. They can't let the towers getting pushed down now, not all of them anyway, even though that is probably what FC Legends is gonna do.
I'm just looking at Lone Druid's GPM. This is about the last thing you want to see in a hike, 150, 160 GPM. He's really getting hammered. Meanwhile, Nature's Prophet, 370. He has got a Midas, and he is going to get out of control so fast. I think even if they get Lone Druid back on track, the issue is Nature's Prophet is off to such a flying start. This is going to be a huge issue for them to deal with. And also, although that said, Bounty Hunter did get a decent start because he was pretty much left to his own devices for quite some time, but still, I find Nature's Prophet is probably going to be enough to deal with him. And here, Bounty Hunter is skulking, but needs to be careful. He needs to be able to kill Music in the burst time, otherwise he is going to probably get taken out. He's got a level 2... He's got a level 2 Shuriken. It's going to be enough here. They're going to get the rockets up. No rockets are going to pop. Doesn't matter. One last hit will clean him up anyway. And Tinker going down, but I think Shadow Shaman is okay with that trade there, because it is going to slow down any boots of trouble from Shaman. But at the same time, Sheever, we've got the push here from AL. They get the bottom tower. They may even go for the second tier towers. They have an army of creep pushing in. Yeah,
and of course there is Invoker, Turtle hero number 1. At least one tornado, but it's not enough. The levels on Shaitan don't lie. Level 4 up on Nature's Call. Gale hits on both these heroes here. They might want to go for this. Nature's Attendance being forced out. Edict helping out. Fortification being popped on the dire side. Maybe they're able to defend it, but after Legends, they're not backing off. They're going to continue staying here. They have indeed such a massive creep wave with the Venomance of Wars helping out as well. And level 3 Shadow Shaman, he can't do anything here, and the tower will definitely drop and snare. Test of Faith, Invoker having to back up, Cold Snap up on the Godot, but he'll be fine. Long DD will be okay as well, but their tier 2 tower drops, and that is another lane of towers down on the side of DK. With no towers dropping just yet on the side of After Legends. In the meantime, Burning, slightly overextending, gonna get stunned, gonna get an Edict. Already was proud, is gonna try to bit TP out, but should be fine. With that amount of HP, he will be fine indeed. But the tier 1 tower is not gonna go down. Leshrac in the meantime, took some damage from the creep, but he doesn't die either.
I bet AL are shouting and screaming. I know Snoopy is nervous as hell. Look, he's playing like he's got Parkinson's. You see the double rev wards in the bottom lane over there. He's just dropped them down one next to the other. I don't think he meant to do that at all. Probably just so nervous. I've got to say, the AL camp, they're probably really, really on the edge of their seats in this match. But right now, I'm just checking the GPMs. At the moment, Invoker struggling to get above 300. It's around about the same. And at the same time, Shaitan is still spiraling out of control. He's picked up treads. So the question is, will he go for a mech, or will he go straight for some kind of damage item to continually completely punish RTK or Burning if they try to engage him?
Yeah,
I think this is the main question. Although Tinker has picked up Boots of Travel and is also working towards a Soul Ring.
Yeah, and he's gonna be. I mean, After Legends, that gold advantage that they have from that tower is meaning so much right now. And Lone Druid, I mean, he's farming, he's getting his farm up, but it's not fast enough so far. And After Legends making themselves up. 5 heroes middle lane. They're gonna go for the last lane of towers still standing. Without going towards the tier 3 towers, of course, and this tier 1 will just drop in a matter of seconds, and Invoker can't do anything here. Maybe he's gonna throw down a tornado when the push continues, but that is all he can do. And actually, it was only the creeps from the heroes there, so no creep wave. There's a creep wave. Now he can throw down a tornado to stop that pushing from happening. In the meantime, bottom lane, burning, a lot of trouble. 3 heroes against him. Is he going to be able to eat his way out? He is not going to be able to do so, and he will go down this time. Tinker picking up the last hit. And, I mean, you can shut down lone druids, and in the end they will farm, unless you can be fast enough to take down the tier 3s. And right now, it looks like they're going to be fast enough.
I think the main thing is the fact that AL are able to deathball really successfully this fight. So if DK, although Bounty Hunter picks up a kill on Venomance, it's probably one of the easiest heroes to take out, as it looks like he's going to try and TP out. It's not going to happen. The Rockets will finish him off. Although if you got the track kill, I think Bounty Hunter's okay with that. But the main thing is, if DK try to deathball this match, AL can successfully fight back this time. Because we're seeing this is pretty much what they're doing. They're just pub training as a team of 5 and getting the odd gank here and there. But the main thing is they just form up in a group and charge. And it's because they're able to actually fight as a group this time. It's not such a big issue. But at the moment, we've got the Impetus now doing a fair amount of damage to Shaitan. There's a splitter. They're on super. A lot of Edict damage on, but it looks like he may escape. No, he walks back into a counter ward and discovers that that is not too healthy.
Nope.
Gets taken out by a bunch of nukes there.
And that's going to be the last tier 2 tower standing here. I mean, they were not able to go in for that earlier, but now they definitely are. No tornadoes, no counter push, no deafening blast, even though it couldn't do deafening blast anyway because it doesn't have Exort. But still, Absolute Legends is just clearing out the last tower, even though I'm quite curious to see how they're going to try to push into the tier 3s, because that's of course a bit difficult, as we see Shadow Shaman getting picked up, Long D getting slowed by the Gale, Edict, wow, that's just such a tanky, such a power level, the Shrek rather. TPs are gonna come in though, they wanna go for something. Who are they gonna go for? Everybody low on health, it's gonna be Shatana to get slowed here. He's gonna try to TP out, he won't be able to do so because Enchantress picks up the last hit. Tornado, Godot has got a track on himself. If he goes down, Tinker goes down first, so Bounty Hunter picking that hit, picking that kill up. Illusion Rune for Bleak will be able to pick that one up, but Godot will still, no, will he? 6 HP, there he goes, that's a track kill. Will Snoopy still go down? Another trackle going down, RTK still alive, and Leshrac being able to TP out of that one, but he was the only one that was able to go back, and that is what DK, I can't believe that tier 2 tower is still standing, by the way. That is surprising.
Holy
DK.
crap. And look at Bounty Hunter. Look at Bounty Hunter's GPM skyrocket. He is up to 400. He's just below Nature's Prophet. It came down to that triple kill plus a bunch of track kills. He is really getting a ton of farm at the moment. But the main thing is, I think that it's really just the fact that Nature's Prophet really is spiraling. It looks like he is going for a Necromnicon there. And I think basically, Sheever, you said, how are they going to push into the up onto the base and get those Rax towers? I think it's mostly they're just going to have an army of minions. They're going to have so many trees. They can have marching machines, although Tinker did actually do a rocket laser build this time around because he was going for full firepower. But basically, he's really far leveled up. So about 20 mark, he's going to have maxed out marching machines. And they're just going to go up onto the high ground and just force their way in with mass minions and marching machines.
That could indeed be a very good way of doing that. Of course, there's still going to be Invoker as well as Lone Druid and the Shadow Shaman wards able to counterpush that, and Ether Shock not to be forgotten. But if DK can do again what they just did, well, I actually, Experience Graph says it all. Look at that. I mean, you might be able to push down towers and get your gold advantage up that way, but if you're going to die, it's not really all that good. An Experience Graph in favor of DK, not by all that much, but still definitely in favor. There goes Fortification. I was going to say there goes the tower. It's still not sure though. Here comes RTK, Shuriken Toss. You already got track up on one tower. Will still go down. Tornado, Bleak, EMP. Will they go in? Is there going to be a cold snap? He's going to be sent home. That will be enough there. As is the cold snap is actually on Godot. Another track. If this is going to be a kill, another track kill going down here. The track actually wears off. No, there's a new one. Impetus finishing the job. Enchantress picking up the kill. It's going to be a regen room for the Bounty Hunter. And the tower did drop, but still they got a kill. Another track kill. And it's going to go out of control if they continue doing that. I mean, if we look at the gold graph, 5k in favor of Absolute Legends. But if you take into account that they are 4 towers ahead, 4 towers is actually more than that 5k gold, so DK definitely not looking bad, even though their map is looking pretty sad right now.
I think the main thing is that Burning is on track for about an 18-minute rating. So that's actually pretty decent considering the absolutely shocking beginning he had. I'm just going to check the actual last hits again. He's on 69 and 3, but considering how bad the initial game was, the initial start for him was, that's actually pretty damn good. And RTK is just on the warpath. He's completely shredding him. There we go. There's that cold snap. EMP as well. They're trying to pick off Bleak. He needs to watch out, though. They do get their kill there on the Bounty Hunter, but he also gets a track kill in the end there. And Snoopy is down as well. They're pinging the crap out of Zippo, saying, bring him down. A 4-star. Well, it was actually a 4-star. It wasn't a Necromnican. And can they get the roots? No, they won't. He will successfully teleport home, and they do need to be careful about those wards. Another Split Earth catching out the bear there, as it looks like they're going to try and finish off the bear. See if they get that money in. It's Burning doesn't have a spare one.
No spare.
Although Burning now has enough for his relic. This is getting very scary.
Oh, Bleak, he is able to get TP out by Godot. Stun still lights on RTK. RTK is still alive with Tornado helping out. Tower will still hit him once, but he should be able to be fine here. TP in. Wow, Shaitan, do you really want to do this? Yes, you do. Chen picking up the last hit. Shaitan still goes down as well as a Bounty Hunter, but that's a 2-for-1 trade right there. Worth it, especially with the Bounty Hunter going down. Bounty Hunter who's having a good game so far. Definitely a solid game for him so far. And yeah, you mentioned like an 18-minute radiance for or a relic. That is only like 3 minutes slower than his previous game. And I mean, he was shut down so hard. Impressive farm from Burning once again though. And he's just continuing finding his farm everywhere.
Okay, this is starting to become problematic for Ale. The issue is that they are trading kills, and that's about the last thing you want to do against a Bounty Hunter. If you start trading kills with him, he is going to come, he and his team will come out ahead, and the massive issue is that they've done that 2-3 fights in a row, just absolute carnage. But it's okay, like Bounty Hunter's team doesn't care. As long as they keep getting the tracks on stuff before they die, they are going to come out ahead. And I think this is why, well, the gold graph still favours AL, but it is sort of, it's not skyrocketing like it used to. And of course, the XP chart, well, no, I lied, it actually is coming back in favour of AL just a bit. But DK do hold a lead still, but the main issue is that now Burning is starting to get farmed. That said, Nature's Prophet has been off to a flying start. He's still sitting on a huge GPM, I think, 450. Yeah. And Tinker is actually doing extremely well, 411, but at the same time, Burning, look at him work his way up the ranks. He's up to 318 now. He's steadily getting up there, so it is becoming quite problematic. I think AL need to calm down and get some core items done. They need to either get a pipe up, or actually not so much a pipe, there's not that much burst magic damage, but they need to get the mech done on Godot. I think it's a big thing. They really need that mech done somewhere to give them a bit of extra resilience in these fights.
Actually, it is... No, the head... Yeah, it is completed. Headrest is there, as well as the recipe for the mechanism on the... I was going to say donkey, but it's actually a frog, so on the frog. And Absolute Legends are looking to push in. They need to do this. If they wait longer, DK is going to get too big for them to deal with, and they need to get these pushes in. Even though they won't get the tower in this push-in, they will still be able to do so much damage with the Edict there as well. At least in a couple more pushes, they will eventually get the tower. Shadow Shaman wards up there to defend. Tracks up all around though. If DK wants to go in on this, there will be a lot of gold for DK to be in there. A lot of extra gold apart from the tracks. But look at this tower. I mean, it's just going to get pressured. And RTK, wow, he can't use more tracks because he just get killed off by the March of the Machines. And that's half a tower down. And if they do it again, tower will go down fully. And they can just afford this. This is the power of Absolute Legends. And they can just go again, actually. They still have the mana. They still have their life, apart from Snoopy, some life that he doesn't have. But it's come down to Bleak, able to just stand at the bottom of the base with his edicts. There we go, there's no fortification. Ether Shock will clear off some of the creep wave, and if Boarding wants to stop this, they're gonna have to go in through the March of the Machines, and you don't want to fight there. Is it gonna be an entangle? There might be. Bleak, a lot of trouble right now. The ratings is on there, doing that extra damage, and Bleak actually goes down to the lone druid. RTK staying alive, Tower still alive as well. Venomancer ulti being used. Zippo on the way out gets picked up by the Venomancer wards, and it's 1 for 2 because Enchantress dropped also. RTK Shuriken toss doesn't get Snoopy. Maybe Super will be able to get him. It's a TP out from the Nature's Prophet. Snoopy not able to get him either, and everybody TPs out and will be safe. 2-for-1 trade. But the tier 3 tower stands. Only for now though. I mean, 117 HP is not really ideal to have.
I think what really caught Ale off guard there was the fact that Burning had just as they engaged there in that final run, Burning popped out the Radiance, and that really caught them off guard. And then a Root's in there, just a couple of Root procs, and it was all over. They had to pull out there. A couple of good kills. And this Nature's Prophet, though, does have a good 1800 gold in the bank. But the question is, like you say, they really do need to get some damage, and they really could do with the racks pretty soon, because otherwise this Nature's Prophet, I don't know if he can take on both the Lone Druid as well as the Bounty Hunter, who is getting closer and closer to that Black King bar. He's only about 900 gold away from that, and then he's going to become quite problematic in these fights because they are relying on a lot of damage coming from the Tinker, as well as that Leshrac, and he's going to avoid, and also the ultimate there from Venomancer. He's going to start avoiding all of that, although it looks like they're getting ready for a clash in the mid once again. AL, they're saying we want to push in. Zippo, though, goes for the Ward Trap on Musica. That is a crippling blow for AL. They will have to disengage now.
Yeah, Tinker does
Sheever, it looks like AL are going to fail.
Oh, track all over the place. If Bleak drops here, you're talking about 900 gold. Wow, he'll get it pretty soon if there's gonna be more heroes dropping here. Tinker is back in the midst of all of it. Lone Druid double kill for that one. Venomancer drops in the midst of all of that, as well as Tinker is still on the way out. He is gonna try to TP out. Will he be in time? I am not sure. Is there gonna be an entangle? Oh, he's out. No, he's not. He gets a kill. Triple kill for Burning on his Lone Druid. I can't believe he got that long DD. Look at his HP, able to back off. No mana, no HP left, but he served his purpose. Got a kill for himself as well. And buyback from the Tinker, and he dies again. That is so painful right now. And I mean, DK knows what they have to do. They can't fight anymore at their base because then their tower and barracks will drop. That is the power of Absolute Legends. If you're fighting somewhere, the towers and buildings around that fight will go down anyway because of the massive pushing power from Absolute Legends. But if they fight in the lane, outside of their base, DK having the advantage, and so much gold of that was trackled. Even though Bounty Hunter did die there, I think he had enough gold before he died for the what's it called, the Minter Hammer. But now only 300 gold away. I mean, track gold all around. Experience graph doesn't.
I think what's really hurting AL. I think what's really hurting AL at the moment is the lack of a big powerhouse. Like what they really need is something like that Tidehunter or even the Brewmaster. They just need something up in the front lines to really have it. Because at the moment, Leshrac is having to sit up the front, and he's so squishy. Yeah. He's so squishy. Bleak just cannot sustain the push up there, and I think it's becoming a bit of an issue, as it looks like Snoopy about to get picked up, and things are starting to get a little bit sloppy, and DK are counter-attacking fantastically, and this is starting to swing definitely in favour of DK as they're really amping up their power.
Ooh. Nature's Prophet ultimate going through here, as well as the Venomancer's ultimate. If Nature's Prophet wants to pick someone off, I mean, he doesn't know it, but Long DD is looking pretty squishy, and Nature's Attendant still on cooldown for a while now, but at least DK is being backed off. That is a good thing for Venomancer still being able to throw down his ultimate before he died. But yeah, you're right, it is looking good for DK, and Absolute Legends can't afford to have those heroes being picked up. Like I said earlier, they need to go for the 5-man pub train. That is the only way to survive those ganks that come up from DK, and that extra trackle for the team of DK is just, it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. And Burning, of course. I mean, he had a rough start, but he is doing so well right now. Radiance complete, Hood complete, and he is just so tanky and getting out of control. And like you said, Nature's Prophet can't go up against a Lone Druid and a Bounty Hunter.
I feel like they just, at the moment, like, I think the chance to pub drain is really starting to slip, just because, like you said, Burning is getting really tough. And also, he has actually picked up a Hooded Defiance as well, so it looks like he's working towards that really crucial pipe, which is, I think, AL, before they lost those King, I think they just need to calm down and get that mech done. Maybe even work towards a pipe or something. When they were pushing towards the second tier mid tower and losing a lot of fights, that was problematic. And oh no, look at the positioning from DK. This is fantastic. They're going to blindside AL. Tornado goes screaming through, catches the time. Split Earth misses everything. A good sprout though. Music is going to disengage now. Deafening Blast going to go through, and nobody gets picked off amazingly. That was a great attack plan from DK, and somehow AL lived to fight through that. I am shocked. I really thought that was screwed then.
Yeah. For Staff's MVP, really. The person that they wanted to initiate on was a Tinker, and Tinker was up on the high ground all of a sudden, and then they didn't know who to go on. And it looked like they all went on different targets and just weren't able to do anything, and Absolute Legends' positioning was just amazing for everybody going somewhere else, or at least making DK quite confused, as we see the Bear trying to go on Bleak, gets an entangle, but the Bear actually taking a lot of damage here. Venomancer ulti before he dies once again. Lone Druid picking that one up, gets stunned up by the Leshrac stun. Leshrac, who is tracked up, is going to be on the back before he can do something again. We see Zippo dying on his Shadow Shaman from the Chen, while Musica is on the run from the Lone Druid and his Bear. Will he get an entangle? Not that he needs it. If he keeps chasing, the damage from the Radiance will still kill him, and his Lone Druid that indeed picks up the kill. Godot, he is gonna get entangled though. He is gonna go down as well. 4 heroes down for 2. Bounty Hunter that The only one left alive is the Nature's Prophet, who is actually going to try to TP out, but is not going to be able to do so. Tornado is there. Is it going to be a Cold Snap? No, deafening blast first. Cold Snap not there. Here comes Burning super fast. Will Shaitan be in time? No, he won't be. Invoker getting the kill. And that was a team wipe in favor of DK. 5 for 2. And they do lose their tier 3 tower, but they are looking stronger and stronger. And soon they can stop waiting for Absolute Legends to go back into their base, towards their base, to take a team fight in the mid lane towards their own base, but they can actually start to be aggressive and start taking down the tier 1 tower that's still standing there on the middle lane. We actually see a blink out of that one. It's a very important tower for the TP point as well, and there's still 4 towers to go down. I mean, look at the gold graph. It is still slightly in favor of Absolute Legend, but count those 4 towers with that, and DK is gonna be getting a lot more gold from those.
It's definitely unfortunate. It looks like the Burning is now on the wall, but he's going to start pushing down this mid tower, and there's not really a lot AL can do to stop him here. There's only 2 of them here, which just is not enough damage at all. He's just going to spam some rockets to try and drive them back. But as is, I feel like AL really need to start capitalizing on their mobility, because they cannot keep affording to try and do this. The whole 5v5 bull rushing isn't going to work now that Burning has his stuff done, and also the fact that those triple kills to ROTK have really made him spiral out of control and really given DK that farm, like that goal that they were starved in the beginning, where they lost those initial fights up top. Things have really managed to start turning around, and I think AL need to stop trying to fight. Really need to stop trying to force those 5v5s at the moment.
They can try to maybe split push. They have, of course, the Tinker and the Nature's Prophet, so they have a lineup potentially solid for split pushing, but I don't think DK is going to let them being split pushed. We'll see that would at least be something they could try to make use of. But you're right, 5-on-5 is not working out, and they should have seen it right now as well with that last team fight, definitely going in favor of DK. And yeah, it reminds me a lot of the previous game that we saw, where Absolute Legends was able to take a lot of advantage, or at least advantage at the early game, and DK just coming back with that lone druid farmed up, and just being able to own Absolute Legends afterwards. And right now, it's going into the same direction once again.
I think the other big issue is the fact they just don't have the disables. Their only real disable is a unreliable Slurth, which, when Bleak misses it, which, you know, granted, it's not an easy stun to hit. You can quite easily miss it every now and then. It's just they don't have anything to back it up. They don't have a huge Ravage. They don't have even something like a Burrow Strike, a Stormbolt. It's just easy, reliable. You can slam it down and pin people down. It's just allowing heroes like Bounty Hunter, like Lone Druid, just to kite them back and forth and run riot around the fight. Even something like Enchantress just really skulk around the edge of the fight, or Invoker just to dance around the edge with his really, really long-range AoE spells. It's becoming very difficult for AL just to lock anybody down and get rid of them. I think this is really, really hurting them.
It is indeed.
And DK, I mean, they're abusing that. They're doing well. They are abusing the hell out of that, and they're making sure that they become very difficult to clean off in a fight, as it looks like Tinker is going to get chased down here by ROTK. A Tornado coming through just doesn't quite reach him in the end, although it looks like ROTK can actually kill him. There's the crit once again, Hand of God, and a Shuriken not doing enough damage in the end. Hand of God healing him up just enough.
Yeah,
and actually, wow, they're diving a long way.
Bottom lane, Burning is able to TP out, stun from the Shrek, too slow. And he's just gonna continue farming in the middle lane, because he can. Salt Kuras being built up by the bear and his master. And I'm quite surprised that, I mean, we're not seeing sheep sticks, because like you said, you want to have those disables, and they only got the split earth, but we don't see any sheep sticks being built just now. Well, maybe the Nature's Prophet is now going to build it with the ultimate orb up in his inventory. And also no BKBs just yet, which is something that you are expecting with Zippo there. Shadow Shaman, a hero that you definitely need to BKB against, because there's just too much disable coming off from him.
Well, that's the issue. I mean, they've lost like every past, like the last 5 fights in a row. They just don't have any money to get these big items up. Like even the BKB, they just cannot afford it. They had the initial huge boost of gold from all of those tower downs, the initial good fights, but the good times have all dried up. The winter is here, basically. They've got to tighten their belts, and there's not a lot they can do about it. You see that they are working towards it. Leshrac is picking up the stuff for a BKB. He's got the Ogre Club there. Unfortunately, Tinker's sort of tried to go a sort of stopgap measure where he's picked up the Ghost Scepter just to try and keep the bear off and to try and keep the Bounty Hunter off him, but in the end it's not going to be as effective as a flat-out BKB if he could afford that, although in this case he almost wants the Sheepstick just as badly, which again, another big item that he just cannot afford all that much, because they just kept trying to just force their way. They had essentially a square peg and kept trying to slam it into a round hole, and it's just not working. And really, DK have fought back magnificently, and it's just the ball is in their court.
What a
It's
great
their game to
comparison.
screw up at the moment.
I have never heard that comparison before.
It wasn't working. It wasn't working, and they just kept forcing it, fight after fight after fight after fight, and every time DK just pushed them back, got a few kills in. And it was even the initial fights where they were sort of coming out okay, where they trade 3 for 2. It's just with the track money, DK didn't really care. They were still getting a fair amount of cash. And the longer they stalled it, the more time that Burning was getting to get his core items up, to get that Radiant up. Which is the other game we saw this happen. It was just came down to the end game guy just did not get his key items up, and they could abuse that.
Yeah, I'm still in my head. I see the image of a fat baby who's got a square peg and he's slamming it into a round thing, but it's only getting it stuck. I mean, he's got it in slightly, but then it stopped working, and it's enjoyable. Sorry.
I feel sorry for Alba. This would be heartbreaking. They were off to such a great start. This would have been such a key win. It really would have helped them try and solidify their run for the 4th place spot, or even the 3rd place spot, to try and get into the winners bracket. But I mean, still, it's going to come down to the game versus Zenith as well. That's going to be quite important, because I really doubt they're going to beat LGD at this rate. But as it is, DK now going to try and force their own issue, and the question is, can AL put up a rock solid iron wall? Trying to hold a rock solid defense, trying to hold this push up, and I don't think they can. Here comes the pipe, Sheever. They are so damn tanky, DK.
Yeah, they are definitely. Fortification gets popped off from Absolute Legends, but it's only gonna slow down it. But well, I say slow down. We were talking about the Electricity earlier on the Bear. Bear will go down, but will be resummoned again. And there was an Electricity on the Bear, and look at that tower. And it will actually be in the deny range if they want it, which they probably don't, but DK is looking so strong, and they're just gonna TP, push the lane out on the top lane, and they have got, I mean, there has not been a massive fight where people died, and 4 towers went down. That was 4 towers in maybe a matter of 2 minutes in total. I mean, and now the gold graph in favor of DK, even though not that much, but look at the drop back. That just shows this game so much. The same thing goes for the experience graph, even though that's a bit more in favor of DK right now, and it never was that much in favor of Absolute Legends, of course, because they were ahead on gold/towers and not on the kills that they had, because the kills are actually in favor of DK right now. But it's looking really good. Net worth also, that lone druid. I mean, there was a time when the net worth didn't show the value on the Bear. Whoa, wait a second. Tornado up in the air. It's going to be Lashrak picking up the Shadow Shaman. And Evoker going to be able to back out. But net worth of the Bear is actually on there. 18k gold in the hands of the Lone Druid, who had the most rough start of Lone Druids that I have seen this tournament.
Oh, I don't know. I think some of Shatan's suicide solos could probably take the cake on that.
No,
to be dead honest, where he spends...
Lone Druids only.
No, Shatan has been playing Lone Druid in the suicide lanes.
Worse than Burning just now? Really?
He was like, a 10-minute mark, he'd have like 5 CS. He was up against tri-lanes. It was really, really bad.
Okay.
There was some really shocking games where, I mean, it's not his fault. He was up against some shockingly hard lanes, and there was not a lot he could do about it. But definitely Burning did have a terrible start and recovered really, really magnificently. Yeah. But at the same time, at the moment, I think AL need to do what they just did. Get a couple of good pickoffs, do a couple of good smoke ganks, because really, if you're losing a match, if things are going pear-shaped, you want to get in those smoke ganks. Just attack for unexpected nodes, pick off a few heroes. Anybody who turns out to be a straggler, get the map vision up, and if you see anybody straggle like this, like Zippo is doing right now, pick him off, and then just use them ability to threaten multiple lanes, and just get DK to start running around in circles and buy time for Nature's Prophet or Tinker to get some more items up.
Yeah.
Or even Lashrak.
That is basically their only hope. Get those semi-carries up to speed with the carries of DK. It will take some time though. I mean, Burning is... He is burning, really. He is just being so farmed right now. It is hard to push in to stop him from pushing in, rather. Venomous of Wars will help out, maybe Chen as well. But we're gonna see what's gonna happen next, because the Bear is just gonna go for the tier 3 tower here. Electricity will probably be on there as well as... well, March of the Machines will of course help out there, but it's only delay. I do think they're gonna stick around to try to go for that. Just send the Bear in there, and of course the Bear is quite tanky, but he has an Assault Cuirass right now. And there's the pipe. They want to go for that. Shadow Shaman wards will be ready there as well. There we go. And the Bear can't move through. He is stuck. He gets stunned up. Sprout there. We're gonna see the wards from the Shadow Shaman being picked off here, and this pushing is not really working well. There goes the Bear. There goes the tower. Look at that tower. That bear is just immensely powerful, and he gets not resummoned. No 100 gold for Absolute Legends. Well, Long DD getting sprouted up will be fine. Nature's attendance there, and we now seen 2 push-ins where DK didn't get a tier 3 tower, but both of the tier 3 towers that they have attempted so far so low. And if they do it again, I mean, if they get a successful tier 3 tower, they are able to just take the fight, and because they're going for buildings, not for hero kills. And I think if they would have gone in for hero kills, we might have seen a different ending, but they just don't want to risk it just yet. They want to get those towers first before they do that, and it's just looking strong.
I would say one thing is really saving AL at the moment. They have 2 of the most annoying turtly heroes. The Wall of Wards from Snoopy was really smart. Like you said, the bear was just completely walled off, especially with the Sprout getting thrown in as well. Just to completely make sure he couldn't get in there to start hitting the tower, really helped them out. And then, of course, Tinker is just there spamming rockets, spamming marching machines, spamming rearm, and just non-stop. There are nukes flying at them, and they just cannot get up there to cause damage, which is really, really helping out. There was a smoke, as it looks like Bleak is going for a stun. Not going to happen, though, because unfortunately there is a haste rune this time on Zippo. Zippo not getting caught out for a change.
Yeah.
And Snoopy's actually moving. Snoopy really ranging ahead a long way. That is a very bold spot to be when you have only 1100 health and you have been getting shredded by Bounty Hunter all game.
And you are the designated person to carry around a Gem of True Sight. It's pretty dangerous. And I just realized, I mean, Zippo not getting picked off for a time made me just check out how many times he died. He died 10 times out of the 25 kills that Absolute has. That is quite a lot. Not a very...
one of those games for this poor old support.
Yeah. But it's better kills up on him than up anybody else, right? I mean, at least...
True.
That is very good for DK. Means that the rest of their heroes didn't die as much. Just gonna check that, yeah. Only 3 to 5 kills, 2 times on Super so far. Just been getting good farm, and they smoked up also. Let's see if they're gonna be more successful than Absolute Legends was a moment ago with their smoke. I'm not sure if they can find someone, though. It looks like Absolute Legends is smelling trouble, knowing that everybody's missing on the map, and they are backing out towards their base. Yeah, it's Roshan. I was gonna say Roshan is gonna be back up again, and DK. Okay, you can't find heroes. Let's just go for Roshan instead.
I think the main thing is, though, even if they get this ace, if they give it to Lone Druid, it's not going to matter as much because AL aren't really aiming to kill DK so much during these engagements as it is to kill the goddamn Spirit Bear. Yep. Because that's the thing, doing all the damage with the alacrity on the pushes, while DK just sort of holds back. So whether or not they actually commit to a full push, where they don't just... Because they have been just sending the bear up the hill going, hit the tower until you die, and then it'll resummon and run away. But they may actually commit to a full push now. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, in the meantime, Musica is building towards a sheep stick still. What? Sorry?
Looks like it.
What looks like it? Oh, sheep stick.
It's going to be... It looks like it's going to be a sheep stick. Nature's Prophet, though, actually picking up some auto-attack DPS. He has had a Manta Star for a little while, and also working towards a Daedalus. In fact, he's almost... Oh, actually, no, he needs... There we go. He's got enough for the Demon Edge. He just needs a recipe now.
Yeah, and
but he could have enough auto attack damage with that crit stick, as well as the Master. I think he might have enough to take on the bear.
Yeah, and that's gonna be their aim. They need to kill off the bear fast. Of course, at a certain point, it's gonna be Lone Druid that's gonna put all the items on himself rather than on the bear. And that's probably gonna come when the tier 3 tower is down, when the bear is no longer needed to be the target of destruction, so to speak. The items will be going on Burning. Burning is actually gonna build towards a heart. So if he puts, actually, he only needs recipe. He already got the vitality booster on the bear, so is very close by that heart. If they want to have that. And
speaking of hearts, in fact, Bounty Hunter already has one.
Oh wow!
He's extremely tanky. Yeah, basically they're just tanking up so they can sustain their push at the moment. So this will really help them get in there. Although it's not as useful on Burning, like we said, because most of his value at the moment is the bear itself, and he may need to just transfer the stuff off the bear. And just use it for the demolish the minus armor, and then actually move in and do the damage himself pretty soon. Which, let's be honest, I mean, if he gets that heart done and dusted, it's going to be very difficult for AL to cleave through him.
Yeah.
He's got so much health.
That's definitely true. I popped up the hero levels to see the differences, and we have, of course, Lone Druid, top of the chart, level 21, and Shadow Shaman. I mean, Dire is topping, and as well as closing the lineup with level 11 on Zippo and the Shadow Shaman. But 3 heroes of Absolute Legends, level 13/12. That is a big loss for them, as we see 3 heroes above level 18. on the dire side. It is a big difference there.
I think it's just generally, it's bad, really bad fights around the 15 to 20 minute mark. Those really, really bad fights have really slowed them down quite a bit. And now the fact that they're losing map control is making it very difficult for these level 13s to get out there and actually farm. Like Chen, because he's such food at the moment for Bounty Hunter, he just cannot go out in front of it. You see Chen right now sitting in the base.
Top lane,
because he can't go. And even, it's really...
Shackle, well, definitely Blast. Is he going to be able to TP out there? Nah, he's not. He's going to go down here. Or is he going to be able to TP? He's going to be able to TP! Wow! How was he able to TP? Didn't they see him?
The Ghost Scepter, he popped that so they couldn't hit him.
Yeah, but afterwards the
They
Ghost
just
Scepter
couldn't,
was
they just
up.
physically... Oh, thought it was on the whole time while he was TPing.
Oh, that could be the case. Well, the Ether Shock still went through, but...
He did rearm.
Ah, so maybe he
So
just
that
did
might
it
have
again.
been it.
No
Yeah.
kill, though. Good setup from DK. I mean, they were waiting for him, and as soon as he TP'd, we saw Shadow Shaman blinking forward. Bounty Hunter was there, and looks like they're gonna continue their pressure onto the mid lane this time again. Where is the bear? Waiting for the March of the Machines to be over. Now the Tinker having to go back to base shortly again. But look at that, 10 creeps. The Wildkins are doing their job, but there's the pipe. They want to go for this tower. Will be able to go for that tower. There he goes. Lone Root defeating it, and they don't care about heroes. They care about the barracks. There's still fortification up if they want to. Now they care about heroes. Bleak in the middle of all of that goes down. Bounty Hunter picking up the last hit. Snoopy has to back off right here, and DK, you know, it's gonna be buildings that they're worried about, not so much hero kills. And they are gonna rotate to the bottom lane, at least burning his tier 3 tower, dropping in the meantime, Godot dropping there as well, and the GG is called because Astral Legends is not gonna be able to do anything against that at all.
Well, when 3 heroes have Heart of Tarrasque, it can be very difficult to kill all of them. Invoker, Bounty Hunter, and Lone Druid. Heart of Tarrasque everywhere you look. That's just ridiculous. So tanky. My hopes were shattered. It was such a good start. In the end, though, DK played well. AL made a couple of mistakes. Were a little bit too hyper-aggressive. Like I said, it looked like they were really on the edge of their seats. They got too excited and just kept charging in their time. They went, all right, we're winning. Let's keep going. And they just didn't decide just to dial it back and get their items done. And just take control of the map. I mean, that's something they could have done, was just take control of the map and just gradually work their way. Because they had a lead. In the end, though, it was those team fight after team fight after team fight that they lost. And all those track kills that they gave away to Bounty Hunter just went all sorts of bad for them.
Yeah, and that Lone Druid from Burning just in both games actually able to get his farm up, and the rest of his team able to delay the game long enough for him to get his farm up so that he could start owning heroes, and he did. And that was 2 points for DK for this best out of 2 for the international group stage. And we're gonna have another matchup shortly, I think. And we're gonna have an outro. Do you have any other closing words, by the way?
Nope, let's go to the outro
Right,
and find out what we're doing next.
Yes, let's do that. Don't go anywhere.